A smart man makes a mistake, learns from it, and never makes that mistake again. But a wise man finds a smart man and learns from him how to avoid the mistake altogether. Roy H. Williams. Smart women love smart men more than smart men love smart women. Natalie Portman. A smart man only believes half of what he hears, a wise man knows which half. Jeff Cooper. I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is. Winston Groom. Only fools use their mouth to speak. A smart man uses his brain, and a wise man uses his heart. Jack Ma. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Francis Bacon. Protect your hands. Some fans demonstrate their enthusiasm with bone-crushing handshakes. My former teacher Julian Bream often bows Japanese style with his hands behind his back. Smart man. Leona Boyd. I'm lucky to have my dad in my life. He's very brilliant, I think he's really a smart man, and he's a kind guy. Cody Horn. It took me better than a quarter century to learn the hard way that hard work at something you want to be doing is the most fun that you can have out of bed, to learn that the smart man finds ways to make everything he does be work, to learn that leisure time is truly pleasurable, indeed tolerable, only to the extent that is it subconscious grazing for information with which to infuse newer, better work. Spider Robinson. Smart men walked on the moon, daring men walked on the ocean floor, but wise men walk with God. Leonard Ravenhill. A sucker don't ever catch on. A smart man don't ever sleep. He's got to keep ducking the traps. Johnny Moss. If you think you can't, you're right. Carol Bartz. Here's all you have to know about men and women. Women are crazy, men are stupid. And the main reason women are crazy is that men are stupid. George Carlin. I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. Tom Hanks. I was asked once, you're a smart man, why aren't you rich? I replied, you're a rich man, why aren't you smart? Jacques Fresco. Rules are for the obedience of fools and interpretations of smart men. Colin Chapman. He's a smart man, so I am assuming he will do it. Michael Nudo. All the great enterprises of the world are run by a few smart men, their aides and associates run down by rapid stages to the level of sheer morons. Everyone knows that this is true of government, but we often forget that it is equally true of private undertakings. In the average great bank, or railroad, or other corporation, the burden of management lies upon a small group. The rest are ciphers. H. L. Mencken. A smart man can't beat a hard-working man, and a hard-working man can't beat a happy working man. Taeyong. Why is it she shivered as he kissed the top of her spine, went lower, that I always end up naked while you remain dressed? A husky masculine chuckle, his lips moving over her shoulder, his hands on her hips. Because I'm a smart man. Nalini Singh. I don't know whether the world is full of smart men bluffing or imbeciles who mean it. Maury Brickman. How can a woman be expected to be happy with a man who insists on treating her as if she were a perfectly normal human being? Oscar Wilde. Man who invented the hamburger was smart, man who invented the cheeseburger was a genius. Matthew McConaughey. I am not a smart man, particularly, but one day, at long last, I stumbled from the dark woods of my own, and my family's, and my country's past, holding in my hands these truths, that love grows from the rich loam of forgiveness, that mongrels make good dogs, that the evidence of God exists in the roundness of things. This much, at least, I've figured out. I know this much is true. Wally Lamb. I heard John Wells say something really smart, many years ago. He said, assume your audience is really intelligent. Assume that they are really smart, and tell your story that way. So, for me, it's about never assuming that they will go away because they're not entertained. Veena Sud. The main reason women are crazy is that men are stupid. George Carlin. It's really amazing that in the age of unbelief, as a smart man called it, there isn't even more fraud. After all, with no God, there's no one to ever call you to account, and no accounting at all if you can get away with it. Ben Stein. I did not come from an academic background. My father was a smart man, but he had a 5th grade education. He and all his friends were plumbers. They were all born around 1905 in great poverty in New York City and had to go to work when they were 12 or 13 years old. Leonard Susskind. It is always disillusioning to weigh your fish and measure your golf drives. Smart men estimate them. Havilah Babcock. No. I can quite happily say someone is handsome, good looking, and I can see why someone would want to FK them, but I've never felt that way about a man myself. There is that moment in your late teens when you ask yourself the question, am I? But I wasn't. Well, this year I have a talent crush on Ryan Gosling. I think he's fantastic and he'd be nice afterwards. He seems smart. If I was gay, I would go for a smart man. Daniel Radcliffe. So he decided to stay out of it and instead turned back to Lady Bridgerton, who was, as it happened, the closest person to him anyway. And how are you this afternoon? He asked. Lady Bridgerton gave him a very small smile as she handed him his cup of tea. Smart man, she murmured. It's self-preservation, really, he said noncommittally. Don't say that. They wouldn't hurt you. No, but I'm sure to be injured in the crossfire. Julia Quinn. Why would a man need both a wife and a mistress? A smart man would seek out and fall in love with a woman who can play both. Brenda Jackson. If there are still honest smart men and women within those old and noble traditions, they should think carefully, observe and diagnose the illness. They should face the contradiction, discuss the conflation, and then do as Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and many others have done. Choose the miracle of creative competition over an idolatry of cash. They should stand up. David Brin. For a smart man, why would Trump conduct absurd limp-wristed missile strikes while the Chinese are sitting with him in Mar-a-Lago? Do they not understand protocol and diplomacy? I don't understand. Do they understand that is probably one of the greatest breaches of diplomacy I've ever seen in my lifetime? Michael Savage. To the man who only has a hammer, everything he encounters begins to look like a nail. Abraham Maslow. Two things make smart men stupid: beautiful women and sports. Colin Cowherd.